Hello. So I just wanted to talk to you guys real quick about the end of suffering, what that's like, uh, so you can know if that's what you're experiencing or not. So the end of suffering is essentially born out of understanding um, and realization uh, that you were never actually suffering to begin with. But the understanding is really this. Um, that love is the only thing that exists, and whenever you're perceiving love, you are indeed perceiving love, and whenever you are perceiving suffering, you are also perceiving love, just with a disguise, love with a mask on. And when you know that love or that suffering is just love with a mask on, when you know that, you just don't see it the same way. And this is really the end of suffering. Um, at least for me, there was a point, a significant point, the awakening point, the breaking point, whichever you'd like to call it, that before this point, I thought, I just didn't realize that suffering was actually love in disguise. And past this point, I realized that love really is the only thing that exists, and that suffering is a necessary aspect of love in order for us to have the experience of love by seeing what love is not. So love made an illusion of itself, an illusion of its opposite, by putting a mask on and pretending to be suffering, so that you could have this experience of believing in the opposite of love, so that then you could come to truly know and experience love by seeing what it is not. Because like if all colors you saw were orange, right, then you wouldn't have any other words for colors. You wouldn't have any concept of other colors. You wouldn't even have a word for orange, because everything was orange. So in the same way, love had to contort itself and put on a mask and pretend to be suffering in your experience, so that you could have a concept for love and have the wonderful story experience of coming to know love deeper and deeper. And really, this understanding, that's the only understanding that you need to have to be free from suffering, to be enlightened, is to see that love is all that exists and ever has existed, and enlightenment is all that exists, and all you have ever experienced has been enlightenment, because enlightenment created ignorance. Ignorance is the opposite of enlightenment, but it is contained within enlightenment. So what is absolute? Enlightenment can have no true opposite. There is not two powers. There is one power, that power of love, enlightenment, that created the illusion of a separate power. And so, after I realized this, sure, I felt the sensation of suffering as I did before, deeply, as well as I did before. But the sensation, felt intensely, is one thing. But the meaning you give to the sensation is really what determines the truth of your reality, right? When someone speaks some words to you, like I'm speaking right now, I'm speaking words to you, and I have an intention, I have a meaning that I intend behind these mouth sounds that I'm making. But whenever these mouth sounds that I'm making enter your awareness, you make up your own meaning to the mouth sounds. So the mouth sounds are the same sensations for both of us, but the meaning we put on the mouth sounds is different, is subjective, because you don't have exactly the same meaning on these mouth sounds that I'm making right now as I do. Otherwise you would be me. you would literally be me in this spot right now, experiencing what I'm experiencing. And well, you're experiencing what you're experiencing, generating your own meaning for the sensations that you are perceiving. And so, in this way, right, the sensation of suffering that I perceive now, even right now, currently, is it's not really the same as what it was, because I have a different meaning to it. Before I knew the truth, I saw suffering as not love, as I saw it as a bad thing. And ever since the switch was flipped, I see and I know the truth instantaneously. Every time there's a sensation of suffering that passes through my awareness, I know the truth of it, that it's actually love in disguise. And so it just doesn't have the same weight. The space, there's a space that's between me and the sensations, and that space that exists now that didn't exist before, just it is so vast that it is perfectly aware and knowing of the truth that is behind the sensation. And so then the meaning that is created by the sensation in my experience is love, no matter what the sensation is. And so in this way, you really just don't suffer in the way that you did before you knew the truth. So this is the end of suffering. This is what it's like. So yeah, I hope that that helped. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Leave any comments, questions down below. Yeah, check out my free will debunked video if you liked this one. Like, subscribe. Peace.